Okay, guys, so we've had a whole bunch of interesting information coming out of China and in the States over the past couple of days. Let's try to put it all together. So we had Burberry warning about growth in China. We had Wen Jiabao talking about stimulus yesterday or 2 days ago in China. We've got GDP numbers coming out this week. Let's try to make sense of it all. Wei, I mean, what is the big takeaway from all these little pieces of these data points?
Well, I think the big worry is Chinese consumers are going to stop spending completely. First, we have seen luxury goods, and we come from Tiffany and Burberry's. And the second, we have seen discretionary spending also taking a hit. Consumers are not even buying a pair of sneakers, a new cell phone. And lastly, I think that's going to hit staples.
Right.
So that really sounds like
so you
message.
wrote a piece about Master Kong, the maker of sour date juice and noodles.
And oolong tea as well.
This is not; these aren't Burberry checked underpants. This is the stuff you need to survive. You know, this is
exactly. But people are even buying less of that, and these drinks cost like 50 cents, US cents. But people still think, oh, maybe I think twice about it if my income is not rising.
Here, the world is kind of expecting for China to rebalance its economy, right?
Right.
So the idea that the consumer will kick in where the export machine sort of slows down.
That was the fallacy of that, wasn't it? I mean, everyone thought, oh, well, the domestic sector will kick in, but people read the newspaper. When they see the exports slowing down, even if exports are a small part of the economy, they say, hey, hold on a second. My job might be at risk, and I'm going to slow down spending. And so that's now kicking in. They see what's happening in property. They see what's happening in the export sector. And you see that around the rest of the region now, too.
So the workers, as it were, or average Chinese are saying, well, wait a minute, if things are slowing down, I better keep more in my pocket, which is kind of the reverse of what people were expecting.
Well, remember, these are big savers, too. I don't know where the idea ever came from that they were going to actually start spending more as soon as the economy started slowing. That wouldn't have made sense, would it?
Well, it does. I mean, one of the great questions is how do you get them to stop saving so much?
Right.
And one way, you have to give them a sense that maybe actually they'll be taken care of when they're older, that health care will be okay. You know, you don't have to have all these great rainy day funds, and I suppose that's got to be one of the big tasks for the Chinese government.
Right.
I think there was also lots of too rosy expectations being built into those multinationals. So in Burberry's case, China sales slowed to mid-teens, which is not bad. Still, that's much slower than the 20% in the second half of last year.
Okay, but we've seen, now just one last thing, Wayne, so we've seen how Americans in particular, a lot of companies will come find a way to warn or find some bogeyman out there so that they can paper over their own problems. Is that, do you think that's happening here?
I think it will happen. I'm not sure we're there yet, are we? I mean, right now, remember, China is a small percentage of overall global revenues, but it's a lion's share of their new growth, and that's important for companies that have high expectations for growth from investors. So these companies right now, they're looking at slower sales in China, and that's going to impact their earnings. Over time, I think what you'll start to see is this does become sort of the whipping boy for CEOs to come and say, it's a China problem. That's what we're having here.
Bad summer weather, therefore.
Yeah, exactly.
Something
it's
like
bad,
that.
Yeah.
But I think your point is right, because China has been the growth engine, and if that's not the growth engine for them, then they have a problem. Anyway, well, thanks a lot, guys. This is great. We're going to look at the GDP numbers coming out this week, and we'll get a much clearer picture on just how much China is slowing.